I accessing cues. Does anybody know what that term means?
Yes.
I do.
Let's call on somebody else who said yes.
Get the teacher's pet away here.
What are they?
The same one he did.
Basically, it's
Was that Arthur Charm?
when somebody asks you a question, and depending on where your eyes go when you think, it will let that person know which part of your brain you're accessing, whether it's whether you're a visual person, kinesthetic, if you're trying to remember something, auditory as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Eye accessing cues are a way to look at someone, and depending on where they're looking, you can tell what's going on in their mind. It's not 100% accurate, but it's a general rule. It works most of the time. It's good enough to rely on. Okay? How it works is, excuse me, looking to your left accesses your memory. Okay? So if I ask you, can I have an example? Who wants to volunteer here? Anybody want to volunteer? Mike, come on up, buddy. Come on down. All right. Let's try.
Come on,
I was thinking French today.
commercial.
All right, let's try this. I want you to try to be as natural as possible. Okay. That's why I haven't explained the directions yet. Okay. Let's see. What was the color of the first house you ever lived in?
Most recent I can remember was blue.
Okay.
Went to the left.
Okay. Now,
No.
the next question I ask you, I want you to give a false answer. Okay. What was the name of the first girl you ever kissed?
Veronica.
Okay. Now, I want you to answer honestly. What's the highest grade you ever got on a test?
102 or about something like that.
Okay. Now,
With the bonus points.
okay, let's see. What's the if you could describe the emotional feeling you get when you go on that steepest pitch on a roller coaster? What does it feel like?
And anxiety and like you're in an unsafe position, but at the same time you're safe. You think last time I went on that boulder dash, is that the one that goes to the woods?
Yeah, I think so.
I went with some girl and I was like screaming like a bitch. I was scared. I thought we were gonna hit a tree. I really did.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot.
I tried to do as normally as I would.
It's
Yeah.
kind of hard when
Yeah,
you know that you're looking.
I understand. I should have asked for a volunteer first. That was my bad. That was pretty good though. Did you guys notice when I asked him the color of his house, he looked up. Up is visual. All right. He restored a visual memory from his mind, and that's what he had to give to us. The color of his first house. That's stored in his visual memory. Okay. He had to access that. Now, left is accessing your memory. Right is accessing your constructive or your creative part of your mind. Did you guys pick up on that? When I asked him to lie, he looked to his right. He was creating an answer. Very simple. All right, now down is emotional. When I asked him, let's see, when you look down when I asked you the grade on your highest exam? Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look down, which to me, that means that's a relatively emotional topic. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, and like I said, this doesn't work 100% of the time. But that's how I would understand that.
Okay.
All right. On to escalation,
Can
boys.
you go over that real quick again? Because I was going to write down like direction.
Absolutely.
It's interesting.
Looking to your left is accessing your memory.
Okay.
Looking to your right is accessing your constructive or creative part of your mind. Looking up is visual. Looking down is emotional. You guys get it? And then there's combinations. So if you're looking up to the right, what is that?
That would be creative visual.
Exactly. Exactly. So if I told you to lie about the color of your house, right there.
I think I did look in that direction.
All right. Now the next topic is escalation, okay? The first part of escalation I'd like to talk about is compliance escalation. Compliance is an escalating process. That's why The example I always like to use is if a homeless guy came up to you on the street and asked you for $50, who in here is going to say yes? Exactly my point. Nobody's going to say yes to him. But if he asks for 50 cents, he's going to get a lot more people to give in. Okay? He's now made 50 cents times as many people as he's asked who said yes, versus $0 by asking for $50. Okay, that's compliance. He doesn't have any compliance with us yet. If a homeless person comes up to me and asks me for $50, there is no compliance between us. I'm going to say, heck no, man. You know, go get your booze money somewhere else. $50, come on. But if he asks me for 50 cents, that's a whole different story. That's not a very big compliance test. I might have those coins right in my pocket, you know? Come on down.
Unless I heard about the 50.
Hey, man.
Oh, Matt's
Hey,
here.
Matt.
I can't believe you actually came.
Hey, Matt,
Matt's
question
the
for you.
man.
Yes.
Did you park on the grass?
No.
Okay, awesome.
No, actually, I purposely did, and then I started doing wheelies in it just to fuck up your luck.
Thanks, man. All right, so right now I'm talking about compliance escalation. If you want to grab a chair somewhere and hop a seat, yeah, that'll work. That'll absolutely work.
Long time no see.
Compliance escalation. Compliance is an escalating process. I was just giving an example of a homeless guy asking for $50 versus asking for 50 cents. People are going to be much more likely to respond to 50 cents rather than $50. It's compliance. Escalating compliance means starting small, working bigger. If a girl says no to one of your compliance tests, start smaller. Take a step back. It's really simple. All right.
Eric, you want to, just to make sure we're covering the bases, you want to touch up what a compliance test would be from a standpoint from a guy to a
I'm
girl.
gonna give an example right now. Okay, an example I like to use for this, for compliance escalation, is a kiss on the cheek, for example. It may be a big step for a girl to kiss me on the mouth. Yeah, obviously, especially if she's just met me. But if she's already kissed me on the cheek, especially right before that, she's gonna be a lot more likely, a lot more comfortable with kissing me on the mouth right after that. It's really not a big step from there. It's basic compliance. Really, really, like, this is very basic stuff that I've seen a lot of people forget. I did not even think about this until recently. I started practicing this, and it really is. It's so logical, so mathematical, so systematic. That's what it is. It's basic and simple and structured. You start small, you work big. If it doesn't work out, start smaller. That's all it is. Okay? Now the next big point I want to cover. Actually, you know, I don't want to jump ahead of myself. Verbal compliance. This is another type of compliance without Kino. You know, are you guys all familiar with the term Kino? Kinesthetic. This is touching. Everybody familiar with that? Come on. Yes. There you go. Thank you guys.
Yes.
Thank you guys. There we go. All right. Verbal compliance, different than Kino compliance. Verbal compliance, I have a structure that I like to use. I find this very successful when I use it. It's very effective. Works perfectly. I like to compliment. A genuine, sincere compliment, and I'll talk about that in a second. Then I make a guess or ask a question. I find that I get a much more genuine response to a question if I've complimented her or made her feel good about herself. Okay?